Hello and welcome back to the Chronicles of the Purple Knight, this Eldritch Knight life. This is the big one, level 17, the arrival of the long-awaited level 9 spells. So I've gone with Mass Hold, obviously, because that's what we'd been building towards, and the Acid Well. Acid Well should work, well, it works very well anyway, but with things always kind of crowding around us, my plan for the Acid Well and the Tempest is to hit those, if things get really dicey, like a couple of Reapers or something like that, we can hit those to thin the field if we need. But also we've got the Mass Hold there. I think we could, for things that are not holdable, like maybe undeads and ooze and this kind of stuff, we can start using the AoE spells more for them perhaps, and the things that are holdable, maybe try the mass hold and just use the sword to beat things down that way. So we're sitting here in the auction house in Sharn with the old sky barge in the background, the Clifftop Tower district. Let's just tell you which quests we did since last time. There's quite a list here. We did the Desecrated Temple of Vol in the orchard in the Necropolis, where we were for the Inferno of the Damned. We did the whole of the Devil's Chain, that's Grim and Barret in the harbour. Tavern Brawl, is it, in the Gatekeeper Grove, Subversion in the 12, and Multitude of Menace in House Cannith. You can be teleported to all of those by if you're next to the quest giver for one of them, say the one in the harbour, you can go to the Gatekeeper Grove from the harbour, and then in the Gatekeeper Grove, next to the Tavern Brawl quest, there's a teleporter that can take you to the other two, the Subversion in the 12 and the Multitude of Menace in Cannith. All level 14 quests, those. We also did all of the Jorasco Age of Rage chain, apart from the last one, the Toxic Treatment, which I find a little bit much, wandering around in that maze and all the rest of it. With that in mind, I added this Glitter Dust spell. It's only a level 2 spell, but my goodness me, does it work well on those evil eye things that can cut you to pieces. You might know the well, at the end of Toxic Treatment, I know there's a shed load of them there, but also in the end of the Age of Rage quest, where the Beholder is, there's a load of evil eyes in there, and it's very easy to either complete the quest and die from the damage with the eyes, or not complete the quest and die. But one of those glitter dust things really does the trick, just vaporizes them. Colour spray also works, but the glitter dust is the king. It just leaves this sort of AoE cloud, and any eye that contacts that, just instant death. So great stuff, that. There are those, what is it, Exploder or something like that, that you fight them normally and then two eyes pop out when you kill them. So if you prepare the ground with one of those clouds of dust and drag the Exploder things into there, as soon as you kill them, the eyes die as well, because they're inside the cloud. So I was quite happy with myself for that. So that was Jorasco. We did the Shadow of a Doubt in the Wheloon docks. That's a level 15. That is the one where the green ion stone comes from. That's the sort of level upped version of the what's the thing from the Delirious Tomb that gives you the Master? Is it Voice of the Master? Yeah, that gives you bonuses to quest XP. Well, this green ion stone is a level 15 version, I think, that also has a hit point bonus. I think it's phrased as a vitality bonus, which stacks with most other things, so it can be nice to have. That goes in the trinket slot like the voice does. And the last few that we did Fear Factory in the harbour. That's a level 15. In fact, that's just reminded me I've got to go and do another 2 in the harbour. I forgot to go and finish that. Lost at Sea in the harbour. That's the first part of the Sharn. In fact, I don't even think is it part of the Sharn chain, or is it just an optional extra? I think it might be part of the big Sharn chain. And Sharn Welcome here at level 15 we've also done. I've been using the Finger of Death. Obviously we're not specialised in necromancy. It's enchantment that we've mainly gone for. But we do have in our gear, there's nothing changed on the gear by the way since last level. Probably nothing will change until we get to epics, I think. We do have this little item which gives us 3 boosts to all spell schools, which is nice. Not bad for a level 5. So that's helping with the Finger of Death. And we're not too bad there. 43 in Reaper, that could have quite a few more added. So we could be looking at around 50 for the Necromancy DC, which against the annoying casters and archers that I'm predominantly using it against, that's quite nice. The mass hold is on a very respectable 54 in Reaper, and part of the reason for that is we've rejigged the Reaper trees at 17. If you didn't know, you get your 3rd level of Reaper trees come available. I've gone as much as I can on the casting side, so an extra DC there, a point of intelligence there, so we're on an odd number of intelligence, 45. That'll become 48 in Reaper and give us another 2 DCs, and a point of spell pen, which as this character has no wizard or favoured soul past lives, spell pen is important. Any extra we can get to help the dancing ball and the mass hold to get through the spell resistance if opponents have it. So I took a few points out of the Grim to add to the caster tree for that, because I absolutely want this mass hold to work, because it's what we've kind of built for. Otherwise, Acid Well I've already mentioned. Now those 2 AoEs are just devastating. The problem I've got, I haven't got Maximize on them, I've just got Quicken. But if I start throwing around those things too often, especially the Acid Well, that's 50 points a time. So in fact it's a bit of a decision usually, because we have the hitting power there between those 2 to wipe out a group practically just with those 1 spells. So do we go with the hold mass, which costs the same, actually a bit more, or do we just try and destroy the group? I think it depends on the composition of said group. If there are a couple of Reapers in there, the hold mass is always going to be handy just to keep a lid on things. I thought I'd show the skills because I haven't shown them for ages. I just tend to pick what I want at the start and then just build up in those. So we've gone with balance. Bluff I wasn't too bothered about. I just put some in there because we had some spare. With a high intelligence we were always going to have some spare skills. Concentration, most of the spells are quickened anyway, so that would be for scroll usage, but we don't use any scrolls at the moment because we don't have anybody we need to raise or anything like that. In fact, I doubt whether our UMD is high enough to use any raised. Yeah, 17, that's pretty pathetic, isn't it? spellcraft, obviously. Heal, because that also helps the negative side. So our ticking death aura is boosted by that. And a point in tumble just so we don't take too much fall damage. But at the moment we've got feather fall on the gear anyway, so that's irrelevant. Just a quick look at the enhancements, because this is significant too. I've built back up far enough in the Pale Master tree to be able to get this one, +2 enchantment DCs and +1 spell pen. That's huge for the mass hold monster and the disco ball. So that's a really nice fit with what we're trying to do. I took also the 3rd core in Harper, +2 to hit and damage versus evil. I think we face a lot of evil, so that should come in. And 5 universal spell power, given that we've got 2 big AoEs there that we're using. And the spell sword imbues also work off spell power, so that's not terrible. The plan going forward is to put possibly all of the remaining points into this Pale Master. Maybe get the 4th core. What can we get? Oh, we can get another one of these. We might go for the offensive sword swinging side. There's a necromancy DC. I don't think we use enough necromancy to warrant that. Everything comes with 1 spell pen, which is very nice. Might go for that one. 15. Although our MRR is capped by wearing robes, so probably not, because that would be useless. I think it's capped at 60 at the moment. But yeah, the 4th core would be very nice. Extra intelligence for spell DCs would be great. Extra crit chance for our ticking heal would be nice. And certainly the 30 extra healing amp, neg healing amp we can get in there would be super nice. So we've got some real tasty stuff to go at there on the way up to the heroic cap. I think that's just about all I had to say. So I thought we could have a go at the next quest in this Sharn chain. This is a level 15 Red Rain. It's a reasonably long one with quite some groups of enemies, so I was hoping it might give us a chance to see where we're at.
Zealot pulls a switch and nods toward the back of the building. You hear the scrape of stone on stone as the concealed back door slides open.
Right, so not too much with the big AoE spells.
You walk out into the streets of Cogswell.
Because I don't want to be running out. The strategy should be to gather everything up in a big group and then just hammer it. So that way we conserve points a bit.
The rain of blood has fallen here, and it's up to you to mop up the mess.
See, I put the magic missile in there and there was no indication that anything was happening on the Forces Point thing. I do see it sometimes, but there's something a little bit off with that, I think. I'm not going to complain. It's been a really fun build to try up until this time. Quite forgiving of mistakes with the defense as it has, and lots of different ways to proceed depending on what you prefer. Look at this now. And we've got a Reaper in there that's decided he doesn't want to be held. Time for the big spell, maybe. Yeah, he hit pretty hard. I should have done some. I should have tried to do the hold again, perhaps against him.
Searching the gambling hall raised more
Or
questions
maybe
than
the thing with the dancing ball is it's a recurring save they've got to make.
outside the building.
Oh, look at this, we're on
Strike
56
down the
now.
rest of
How
this
did he
group of
save
false
against
thugs
that?
and check to make sure there are no
56 in
more
heroic, that's pretty damn good, I
Don't leave
think.
the way you came.
But yeah, the disco ball, although it's a slow cast, it's a recurring save, so even if they make the save once, they're going to get caught in it sooner or later. Come on, everybody in. Yes, oh look at this Christmas tree time, people. Beautiful. How did you avoid it, you miserable little slime? Okay, Death Aura. We'll have to remember to put that back on.
You push open the door to the
In
apartment.
fact, when we...
The
Oh no, there's
surprisingly
a...
well-decorated rooms
You
show
can
signs
talk
of
your way
struggle.
out of this next one,
Your
can't you?
stomach clenches in anticipation as you near the crime scene. Fallon must have spent his recent winnings digging himself out of debt. Imagine meeting your end right after getting yourself clear. At least he died in the black. After examining the corpse,
Or
you
at
can
least
see
I
that he
hope
was
we
killed
can.
by
Let's put the
poison
Death Aura
crossbow
on just
bolt.
in case we can't.
His last gambling ticket lies just out of reach. Fallon had just won big, cleaning up on a match in an underground fighting ring down in the
Oh
cogs.
crud, this might not be
Despite clear
good.
attempts to make this look like a break,
As it's not gonna
all
work.
of Fallon's valuables
Nope.
were still in their proper places. As you knocked
Intimidate's
over,
never gonna
you
work.
heard voices from the direction of the
Okay.
front door.
I pressed the wrong key, but that's worked out quite nicely.
You managed to make it past the dazzle thugs.
One thing I didn't know is that the opponents with the Gust of Wind spell can actually blow away this disco ball thing. I think it's just classed as a cloud for that.
Zealot unlocks the gate, revealing a small lane that grows deeper into the heart of Cox Gate.
Come on then. They're being held for quite a nice long time, that's good. And everything that is held like that is also helpless, so taking more damage, which is also great. Which they don't do when you get them in the disco ball. That looks a pretty good tactic. Mass hold and then the two big cleaves. And I think for the purposes of the... I don't know, does it have to be an offensive spell?
Just as with the other crime scene.
I think
Inside,
mass
the
hold
shopkeeper's body is
and
forgotten
like the
inside
disco
all the
ball,
other cast offs.
do they count for the
Different body, but the same song. A
for
crossbow bolt
activating
dipped in
the
poison and a palm
extra
covered in
critical
slashes.
chance?
Yet this time a new
I'm not
detail
sure.
catches your eye. A shattered pendulum far up in the tempest.
And let's bear in mind as well, when I use the
Filled with
Eldritch
smoke
Strike, which I'm doing all the time, we get another 2 points on our
so they could be fenced on the black market later.
enchantment
Murderer
DC,
could have emptied the pawn shop.
which is probably why it's so high.
Only Mord's life
I think
was
we've
taken.
lost our things
Armed
now,
with
haven't we?
findings, you wonder, what connects all these gruesome crimes? The last of the heavily armed halfling thugs falls. Another alley stretches before you.
I haven't
The
even
more you learn
used
about the
the
victims, The more
tempest
questions you
or
have. You can only
acid
hope
well
Zolk's
yet.
close by
Let's
before
try
it's
and
time
oh
to
my
make
god, no, let's not. I tell you what, we'll do it now. That was tempest and acid well. 'Cause I could feel my life flashing before my eyes there. Why aren't we healing? What? Has something taken the healing off? Must have done. Maybe I haven't cast it properly. I don't know what's happened there.
tiefling stands before you with a face you remember from your recent
I'd love to
adventures.
try Finger of Death, but I bet
Despite your
he's
own
got a
shock of meeting
very
him again,
high
you hope that Zolkis is willing to
constitution,
answer
so
your
let's try and hold him
questions.
instead.
Zolkis steps through a dimension door, his face glowing with the smug triumph of a man who thinks he's won. You're too busy dealing with the full bodyguard to notice.
Okay, let's have a
The
rest
patrol
here, I think.
topples. Yet another casualty of this bloody night. Now, to meet up with Zealot.
So far, so good. So the hold is working to satisfaction.
Zelith shakes her head, the weight of her brother's betrayal settling over her like the dirt that falls on the streets from above. You've got a job to finish. Another crime scene with you and Barret.
I think in a number of cases, probably like there, the disco ball is more useful than the mass hold. It's got a massive AoE, and when the things are spread out like they were there, it can really keep you nice and safe.
You stoop down to search the contents of Naram's pack. Looks like he was fleeing for his life when the murderer got to him. More slashes on the palm.
Let's try again.
This time you see the pattern. You wonder how you
Drag everything back through the ball, including you, Mr. Reaper. Come on. That's nice.
Whoever did this wasn't shy about letting
Get the old arcane tempest going.
the security ledger in Boston lost by Cannith. A quick glance reveals that every victim had worked for Vaughn. It's too big of a coincidence to overlook, especially since a note in the margin talked about cleaning up loose ends. That ledger told you what you needed to know. The victims all worked for Vaughn and were killed because they knew too much about his operations down in the cogs. You
Well, that was
strike down
nice.
the last
Very
of the
sweet.
victims.
I like it.
So close to the truth. You catch up with Zealot and fill her in on the clues you found so far. She points you towards an alleyway northwest of where the goblin was last seen. A familiar voice echoes from behind this door.
Well, let's try not to get done over by all these mines. Remember the boosts.
Now Zelith is onto us. It's only a matter of time before she and those adventurers come barging in here.
Now I daren't move too much because of all these mines. Yes, Finger of Death, beautiful. Come back to me, that's it. Can we acid well those goons? Oh, look at that. Now this is a problem. I don't... Do I have a... Oh, I suppose I could do this if he's not going to come to us. I don't want to go on all the mines. Fireball? A bit of a miserable end. Oh, go on then. Tempest. There. Why didn't I do that first time? Being stingy with the... And typical me, I collect the souls when the quest is finished. I've just got this thing with collecting the souls.
Zealot shakes her head. Sometimes it's a stranger who holds the knife. Sometimes it's family.
Actually, in here, if we'd have been lucky, there could have been some stone shoes for the acid
I'll move on to the next crime and the
acid spell power, which would have been very nice. Although that would have given me quite a decision to make, because these DR15 golden greaves, I think, are going to take us right to the cap. So I'm not entirely disappointed that we didn't find any, because I don't like tough... There's been enough tough decisions like that with this build, between the casting side and the melee, and I'm sure they'll continue to be so right the way to the cap. Right, I'm more than happy with the way we're going at the moment. We have all sorts of different ways now to proceed. With the acid well and the tempest are just devastating damage wise, and we've got our... Even though we're not specialised in evocation, we've got the save for that high enough that, well, the Tempest doesn't have a save after the initial tick, but on this acid well it's high enough as a level 9 spell that we're doing well with it. The mass hold, as you've seen, is very effective, and between the mass hold and the dancing ball, we've got the crowd control pretty well covered. The only thing we will struggle against, like the constructs, the warforged, that kind of thing, and undeads. So against those, perhaps we could adopt the violence first approach and just try and kill them outright, and then with other things maybe a bit more subtle with the crowd control. See how we go on. But it's promising. Onwards and upwards now towards the cap. I think we're going to be rolling along quite nicely here. If this carries on into epic, and with 56 that was, that's promising. I can see us doing some good things. I just wonder if the melee damage will hold up, because if it doesn't, that's going to put quite a stress on the spells and the spell point pool. And I really want him to succeed as a melee and to be more or less able to get through without using any offensive spells, if we decide to do it that way. I have a feeling we might be alright if I can just get one of those Borderlands falchions. We'll try and take improved critical slashing at 18. Get one of those falchions, maybe dig out a sentient gem that I've put a bit into, let him have that and see what we can do. See, again there, that'll be another engaging decision, because what do we do with the sentient gem? Do we gear it towards melee, towards spell power, DCs? What do we do? I'd be tempted to try and boost the DCs if I could. What would that mean? More intelligence or something? I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Right, I've waffled on enough. Thanks very much as always for looking. Hope you're doing okay, and I will speak to you in the next one. Take care.